We can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis. And some of the cases we're talking about would be ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation. This was, in fact, it was the same date, the exact same date, the end of the Civil War. It was meant for the babies of slaves, and it's so clean and so obvious. But this lets us go there and finally win that case, because hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason. It was meant for the babies of slaves. So thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries, and numerous other priorities of the American people. We have so many of them. I have a whole list. I'm not going to bore you, and I'm going to have Pam get up and say a few words, but there's really, she could talk as long as she wants, because this is a very important decision. This is a decision that covers a tremendous amount of territory. But I want to just thank again the Supreme Court for this ruling. It's a giant. It's a giant. And they should be very proud, and our country should be very proud of the Supreme Court.
All right, come on. We are in there. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. What's up, Brother Caleb Collins? Thank you to everybody that's tuning in live, and to everybody that will tune in soon or on the replay. Birthright citizenship. Come on. I'm loving it. I am loving it. We need to end it. Like Trump said, it was for the children of slaves so that they would be granted citizenship, and they wouldn't have to go through any of the, whatever the citizenship, whatever that was back then. I don't know what the formal process was. Whatever the process was back then, they wouldn't have to go through it. Born in America, you're a citizen for the children of slaves. Great. That's what it was for. Let's get back to that. Let's stop allowing anyone to come over here illegally, have a baby, and then that baby ties them. That baby gets citizenship, and then now they're tied to that baby because, then again, and this is what we talk about, how they twist Christianity. Well, you don't have compassion for separating children from their parents. As the left has twisted Christianity so much that now lawbreakers and people who hate order can use us or use Christian ethics in order to continue to milk the system and do illegal things. I'm grateful for President Trump that he is ending all of the loopholes and gotchas that these immoral people are using to try to milk the system, the American system. No other country allows this type of, what's the word? I guess I'm going to call it nefarious actions. No other country allows this, but we do. Because we've allowed people to twist the Bible and to use Christian ethics as a bludgeon against Christian people and cloak everything under compassion. Compassion doesn't mean you become stupid. Compassion doesn't mean that we allow illegals in mass to stretch our system to the breaking point so that we eventually don't have a country. That's not how any of this works. It's not how any of it's supposed to work. And I'm grateful that President Trump is calling it like he sees it. And the Supreme Court has given him the ability to go forward with ending birthright citizenship. You can't be a citizen if one of your parents isn't a citizen. It's simple as that. If you're born of two people from a different country and you come here, well, congratulations, you were born here, but you get no special rights because of that. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. If you like the video on your way in, that would help with the engagement. Thank you to the new subscriber. Come on, I love it, right? Yes. Okay. Now, we get to see how people have reacted to President Donald J, right? Because people have, let's go back to, hold on, let's pull this up here. People are actually thinking that Barron is going to be deported because of this, right? It really is. It's just common sense, right? It really is just common sense. Get that, right? It says Melania became a U.S. citizen on July 28th, 2006. Barron Trump was born March 20th, 2006. Barron will be deported under the new birthright laws. These people really can't be this dumb, but they really are, right?
You are so dumb. You are really dumb, for real.
His dad's Donald. Donald is a citizen. I don't, maybe this guy didn't know that, but Barron's going to be okay. He's going to be all right, guys. He's going to be okay. These people, they post these things online like it's a gotcha. And I have to think at some point that these people, they're doing it right for one reason.
I just want some money.
Somebody's paying them to post these things because it's the same message. It's the same nonsense. Candace Owens recently uncovered a plot to, or a scheme to have she and Tucker Carlson demonized on TikTok. There are people who are paying and funding these TikTokers and influencers to begin to promote a specific narrative. They give them a script and they go for it. They've never talked about politics before, but then all of a sudden they're political experts and they're interested in all of the things political. It's funny. And they always call, you know, people like me who are just a voice in the wilderness saying things that I believe. They try to project on us that we're getting paid. The only payment I get is YouTube super chats. If someone sends me a Cash App, I make very little money from this. I just get on here because I'm passionate about the things that I say and I want to share with you all, right? So this guy really believes that this was some sort of gotcha, that Barron was going to be out of here, right? Bye Barron. Okay. Do you all, and here's the thing that's really mind blowing, right? Do you think that Trump would pass a law that would have his son be deported? I don't, just as a father. I mean, as a legislator, I don't think he's that dumb, but as a father, I believe he's compassionate enough to say, you know what, I'm not going to do. This is one of the reasons why I voted for him, because I think he wants to do what's best for the country because of his children. See, there's a different mindset that you have when you have children and you have to think about the next generation. Even the comedian Whitney Cummings was just recently on Bill Maher, and she was mentioning how she's become more conservative since she had kids. She used to be really liberal, pink-haired liberal, libtard. She even called herself that. But people who have children have to think about the future that they're leaving their children. There's something that goes off in your brain when that baby's in the womb and you know that life is coming. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, what kind of world are we leaving? What kind of world are we leaving the kids? And Trump, I believe, has that mindset because he has lots of kids. So he wants to do what's best for him. So I don't think he's going to pass anything that would knowingly harm his children. So birthright citizenship, you would even think that this guy would recognize that. I don't see why these people don't put two and two together, right? Yeah, two and two together, right? Now, bye Barron. You know, they're like, get out of here, Barron. Now, there's some more stuff. Trump has been winning all over the place, and we're going to talk about that, right? Even CNN is having to admit, right? All right. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. Thank you to everybody that is subscribing. Thank you to even the people who are hating the the content, right? We got EGB in there, Patty Chris, VD Garcia, thank you, Jeffrey Spring, thank you to everybody tuning in, Jason Haig, Trown PBC 2022, who else? Am I missing anybody? The Originals Fighter, Black Queen, Dread 9, Jet, Tom Graves, G's 5454, Ace 1, all right, pay attention, thank you again, Lawyer 2, Garden Girl, thank you to everybody tuning in, thank you, I appreciate you for tuning in. All right, we appreciate you. Let's get those likes up, right? Likes, dislikes, whatever you can give me. Now, let's look at this. So Trump's tariffs apparently are having an effect, right? Here we go. Let's listen in. All right.
Look how much we've been collecting in revenues. And I did this in part because Wilfred's here and he can talk about the UK trade deal. But just this is the monthly numbers. And they have gone up a lot. June is actually set for another big increase of $27 billion. That is money coming into U.S. coffers from tariffs. We are collecting a lot of revenue. So far, guys, $121 billion has flowed into the U.S. government since the start of the fiscal year. It's still a tiny portion of the overall revenues that the U.S. government gets, but it's increasingly a lot, especially we haven't seen it in terms of the consumer paying off higher inflation. Look how much we've been collecting.
How much, y'all? 121 billion. Come on.
I just want some money.
We just want that money. Come on, get them tariffs up. Come on, come on. That's what I'm talking about. Well, looks like Trump wins again. I mean, I don't know. He just keeps winning, right? And we like winning. I like when America wins. I don't know about y'all. I love living where I live. I love this country. I don't want to live anywhere else. I love it here. Right? Now, there's some things I want to change. And it looks like Trump is actually going to change some of them. But, man, it's good to be on the winning side. Not being taken advantage of by every country. Everybody else has a sweetheart deal and they're milking our system. We have to keep producing so that the world continues to profit off of our value as a country, as a nation. Man, no. We need to start winning. We need to start winning. Get that 121 billion from those tariffs. Bring it in. Come on. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need to see, more wins like this. Getting rid of birthright citizenship so that people can't come into our country and milk our system and stretch it to the point where it's breaking. Using our social programs, continuing to, get on SNAP and healthcare, Medicaid, all these other things that, that were set up for American citizens, now are being used by illegal immigrants who, we don't need you all here. We don't want you here. We like legal immigrants who want to actually help to pursue the American dream and put into the system and help, right, and be a benefit. We don't need more leeches on the system, right? Thank you to everybody that's subscribing. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. Get those likes up. If you're liking the video, subscribe and like. That helps to get the engagement up, to get more people in so we can have this conversation, right? So let's keep talking about it, right? Let's keep talking. Even if you dislike it, like it. Double tap the screen. Do something, right? Do something, right? And we're taking super chats. Super chats, I will address them and it will show up automatically. Super chats show up automatically at the bottom of the screen. And I will address those. Now, I will actually, I'm not going to be addressing everything that happens in the comments. I know that some people really think that they're, that every comment that they make and question that they have in opposition needs to be answered, but it doesn't. I know. All right. So birthright citizenship. And thank you to everybody that's tuning in. All right. I appreciate you all. Yes, Trump is doing a great job. He's doing a great job. Okay. I've had a couple of things that I've disagreed with, and I'm still watching, I'm watching things just like everybody else, trying to pay attention to what's happening. But the whole of his presidency so far, I'm enjoying what I'm seeing here. All right. Thank you to everybody. Okay. So there's been a lot of things that have been going on. Let's look at another one, right? And this Trump derangement. Wait, hold on one second. Let me do this, all right? So we got to talk about some TDS, right? We got to talk about some TDS. Well, we'll do this before we talk about TDS, the people with TDS. Hold on one second. We got some people in here that have TDS. All right, so let's listen to this one. Because on the topic of illegal immigration and ICE, let's listen in.
This is we're offering up our National Guard and other folks in Florida to be deputized to be immigration judges. We're working with the Department of Justice for the approvals. I'm sure Pam will approve. But then I'll have a National Guard judge advocate here. Someone has a notice to appear. Biden would tell them to come back in 3 years and appear. Now you'll be able to appear in like a day or two, so they're not going to be detained hopefully for all that long. We'll have people here in this facility that can make, it's a bureaucracy. The president's got to deal with the bureaucracy. Now that Supreme Court ruling was good because that's going to allow him to be able to exercise Article 2 the way founders intended, but you still have bureaucracy. So we want to cut through that so that we have an efficient operation between Florida and DHS to get the removal of these illegals done. This is
yes, you see that? Right, so they're deputizing
and other folks in Florida.
So look at that, working together. State and federal government working together. Right? Not the the Tim Walls of the world that are trying to block everything, the mayors of New York trying to block what Trump is doing. No, we need this illegal immigration situation solved as soon as possible. And we need the states and the federal government to work together. Good on Ron DeSantis for doing that. Ron DeSantis. I don't know why I said Rob. Ron DeSantis for doing that. Great use, like someone in the comments said, great use of the Florida National Guard. It is imperative that if we get, because once that SCOTUS ruling came down and now Trump can do his thing, we need these governors to get online. And if you are in a state where your governor is trying to block ICE, he needs to hear from you. Now, we don't have that problem in Louisiana because we have, we're a red state, but he needs to hear from you. Let them know that we don't want this illegal immigration problem unsolved for the duration of Trump's term. We want it done, and at the current pace, we're not going to make much of a dent in it if we don't get everybody on board. And so we need these governors, mayors, all leaders need to get on board with this. The American people voted for this. That was Trump, one of Trump's main, fixing the economy, illegal immigration. Those were two of the pillars of his campaign. And so we need to see this happening, right? And it's great that Ron DeSantis is lending his support to Trump. We need to get this situation solved because there's too much going on in our nation for us to be focused on anything outside of it, and then for these governors to not be helping the president who we voted for. Popular vote and electoral college. We said we wanted it. We need to get it. Okay. So yes, great job. Great job. And again, what needs to happen to some of these people, and I'm going to mention this as well. Some of these governors and mayors, they need to be tried for treason. If they continue to push back against what the people want and deny what we voted for, and they openly campaign against or try to subvert the things that the immigration laws and the ICE agents are trying to accomplish, what Tom Homan is trying to accomplish, these people need to be looked into for treasonous activities. They are putting illegal immigrants above American citizens. May it never be. This is insane. Like we can't have a country when we don't care about the citizens first and foremost. You can't have a country when the citizens aren't your top priority. If the globe is your top priority, you don't have a country. If your borders are completely open, you don't have a country. Just stop calling yourself the United States of America. United with who? We're not united with one another. If everybody can come in and do whatever they want, the doors are open. We're not the United States. We're just a part of the globalist agenda at that point. And then you're gonna see, because we're gonna talk a little bit about old socialist Zohran Mamdani again. Oh goodness, that fella. We're gonna talk about him. Thank you to everybody that's subscribing. Thank you to everybody that is tuning in right now. I appreciate you all. Super chats will be displayed on the screen automatically. You see whenever someone publicly subscribes, it shows up immediately, and I will address super chats, whether positive or negative, on the show. Right. So let's keep it going. All right. So we've got that. Now we also have some people who, again, they're trying to subvert what Trump is doing. And listen to this, if these people will try to end him with a bullet, this is the least of, they're more than capable of the rest of this. Listen to this. So there's a possible leak that Trump is going to go after. 2 possible leaks.
You tweeted the Democrats leaked an intelligence.
They should be prosecuted.
Who specifically? Do we know who did it? Will you be able to find out?
They could find out. If they wanted, they could find out easily. You know, you go up and tell the reporter, national security, who gave it. You have to do that.
Yep.
And I suspect we'll be doing things like that.
You tweeted.
Right. He's going to go for him, right? He's going to go after them. And he needs to. These people need to be held accountable. They try to blow his brains out. He survives. They're trying now to subvert American interests. These are treasonous people. They're on the same level as Benedict Arnold. They want to see America fall and be remade into a socialist hellscape that you will own nothing, right? Everything will be free but you. You'll own nothing and you'll like it. This is what they're trying to promote. This globalist agenda where the means of production are seized. You're going to see Zohran say that. He keeps saying it every time he gets a chance. And we need to fight back against this. These people, like he said, they need to be prosecuted. We need to find out who's doing this.
Intelligence. There should be.
Because when you leak intelligence, you are leaking secrets that could compromise our nation. Do you have no morals and scruples? Obviously, they don't. I mean, they tried to blow his brains out last year, so that he wouldn't win the presidency because they knew that he was going to win. They knew it. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. I appreciate. You're right. 1984. Somebody said it right. 1984 or Brave New World. 1984. Animal Farm. Like all of the dystopian literature. We're essentially, it's that the dystopian literature has now become our reality. This wasn't supposed to be an owner's manual for the United States of America, right? Yeah, the Minority Report. I know. It's just, we got so much stuff. Oh, that we have to deal with. And then, look, we've got CNN. CNN, again, they keep dropping. I don't know. We're gonna let's listen in. We got, where is it? This is that was supposed to be on the Iran intel leak. Now we're on this one. All right. Sorry. I got to stick with the
CNN
rundown.
Yesterday pushed an app that lets you track where ICE agents are. Tom Homan was saying that perhaps CNN should be prosecuted for that. As obstruction of law enforcement. Your response?
Yeah, we're working with the Department of Justice to see if we can prosecute them for that, because what they're doing is actively encouraging people to avoid law enforcement activities, operations, and we're going to actually go after them and prosecute them with the partnership of PAM if we can, because what they're doing, we believe, is illegal.
And they may be prosecuted also for having given false reports on the attack in Iran.
Yes.
They were given totally false reports. It was totally obliterated, and our people have to be celebrated, not come home and say, what do you mean we didn't hit the target? We hit the target first. You know, the pilots came home and they said we hit the target first. So they may be very well prosecuted for that. What they did there we think is totally illegal. Okay, let's go. Follow us. You got it. Hi, Brian. You all right?
Right. Prosecute all of them. If they are trying to subvert American interests, they are treasonous. They are traitors. They need to be prosecuted. And an app that lets you track ICE agents, What's going to happen when someone uses that app, an illegal immigrant uses that app to end an ICE agent? So now we've got an illegal alien deleting an ICE agent, someone who's trying to serve his country. But you've put out an app that allows them to track them for nefarious purposes. You're choosing the immigrant over the citizen. This is, again, and you will have no country. And apparently they're going to like it. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. Thank you to everybody. If you could come in and hit that like or the dislike, either one. We got 1,000 people in here. If we could get the engagement up to 50%, we got 1,100 people to 50%, 500 likes. That would be awesome. Okay. So we've got so much going on in this this administration. They're trying and this is where the TDS comes in, because everything is centered around making sure that people don't believe Donald Trump. Donald Trump can do no right, apparently, right? Can do no right. Everything he says has to be false, right? We saw that video yesterday, or it was a couple of days ago, I don't know, where Carrie Champion asked Scott Jennings, do you believe that this president tells the truth? And he said, well, yes, I do. And her face was like, well, how dare you? Like, what are you doing? How do you... Just what you telling me that Donald Trump never tells the truth, right? So this is what they think Donald Trump's theme song is, but this is actually their theme song.
Why you always lying?
Because they're always lying about him, always lying about Trump. And again, if the man can do no right, is that what you're saying? Come on, man. Yeah. Insane. All right, it's insane. Okay. So they're leaking information, putting ICE agents in harm's way, because you know that these people, they're already dangerous. They're being supplied bricks in LA to throw at ICE agents. You know, we've seen the protesters out there. And if you let people know where ICE is, do you not think that they're going to attack them? This is insane. That we think that it's a good thing to put citizens in danger. That CNN thought that was a good thing. They should be prosecuted for that. All right. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the big, beautiful bill, because some reaction to it, both positive and negative. Okay. Let's listen in. All right. This is Scott Jennings talking about reasons why he would vote for it. Some common sense reasons why he would vote for it. I'm still not, I'm on the Rand Paul Massey trying to figure out whether or not this thing is going to be good for the country. If it adds to the deficit, I need more information, but we're going to look at some reactions to it.
If I were voting for this, and if I were in the Congress, I would vote for it. But if I were voting for it, I would say, look, this is very simple. I want taxes to be low. I don't want people who are gaming the system to get benefits. I don't want illegal aliens to get benefits on your back. And I want to secure the southern border. That's basically what I went to Congress to do, and that's what we're doing in this bill. And I think in the midterm situation, it's defensible to say we're saving Medicaid. We're saving the social safety net by keeping people out of it who don't belong in it. I think, to Kristen's point, if you tell people that illegal aliens are getting benefits, I'm certain that doesn't poll very well. If you tell people that able-bodied people who aren't at home taking care of anyone else or kids are sitting around getting benefits, you have to go to work and they don't, I'm guessing that's okay. So in a campaign, you get to make your case, and I don't think Republicans should shy away from making it here. If I were voting for this, and if I were in Congress...
Let me know how, well, I'm checking the volume. Everything's up, right? All of my volume. Let me make sure. All right. But I don't know if that's an issue. But anyway, now we've got to make sure that, like he said, we don't need illegal immigrants on the social safety net. What are they? They're not citizens. That would not poll well. We don't want that. We don't want them getting benefits here. We don't want them. We want the southern border closed. What's going on, Brother Derek Franklin? All right. What's happening, Brother Derek Franklin? Appreciate you. All right. It's one of my members and longtime supporters. All right. Members and longtime supporters. I'm always going to put their information up there if they have something to say. Thank you to everybody. All right. Memberships are only $1. Right. So if you want to support the thank you, Sherry, for Trump. I appreciate you for checking it out, and I appreciate you for liking what you're hearing so far, right? Okay, so people say that you're going to get they're going to give tax cuts to wealthy people. So I don't know what the threshold is. I have no problem with wealthy people getting tax breaks. I promise you, I don't. These people generate so much income, they pay the majority of the taxes in this nation. Why wouldn't they get a break? They're creating jobs. Why wouldn't Jeff Bezos get a tax break? Why wouldn't Elon? You know how many people they hire? Do you know how many people Elon Musk hires? Why wouldn't you give them a tax break? Hey, you're doing great for the country. We don't want to continue to take 50% of your money. Why not? Why is it that they, again, we're going to talk about the IRS and some of my ideas about the IRS, but why is it illegal? Or why is it immoral to give rich people breaks on taxes? Because that's what they always say, but they never really can make the case, right? They can't make the case that it's immoral. Nothing about it is immoral. If they decide, because I've been in the top 10% of earners for years, I wouldn't mind a tax break. I like keeping my money. I think that's a good thing. I don't know about you all, but the first paycheck that I ever got, I didn't like seeing all of my like that amount of money taken from me before I even had a chance. In my mind, I worked X amount of hours, and my hourly pay was this much. I bagged groceries. That was my first job, and and I thought, well, this is how much I should get. Lo and behold, when I got that first check, and all of us understand it instinctively that something's wrong with that. I worked this much and I didn't get what I was promised. So this is insane. So I've been working as a software engineer and for years as an independent software contractor. It pays very well, depending on how much work I can get and my capacity for work, and then I also do part-time music. But I really like keeping my money. Yeah, I really like it. I don't know about the rest of you, but having kids and having kids and being able to pay my bills, I like that, right? But there's some common sense reasons, right? And there's some common sense reasons to vote for the bill. Right. But there are also some negatives. Right. If we look at it and we think, OK, will this add to the deficit? Will we continue to? And we understand, again, that there are some things that were done in the previous administration that need to be fixed. It's going to take money to fix them. So I get it. We get it. So we have to balance that out. But the big, beautiful bill, a lot of people are upset about it. And I think some of the right people are upset about it. Let's listen. Let's listen in to someone who's a little upset about it. That's what we say. All right. So we got a TDS sufferer here. All right. We're going to talk about this. Got a lot of TDS sufferers, but we're going to talk about this one specifically. Okay. My brother Derek Franklin. Right. Exactly. It's wealthy people's money. They earned it. Therefore, entitled to keep it. It really is that simple, right? Derek, you think it would be, everybody's entitled to keep what they earn, whether they're wealthy, whether they're poor. It's not rocket science. You should be able to keep what you earn, right? I know it goes against the socialist playbook, and most of the people that we're interacting with in the comments have been, trained to be socialist, but us capitalists, we believe that we should be able to keep what we earn, right? Yes.
Leaving the Senate now, At the end of the vote, when the Republicans won, they cheered. They cheered over taking away health care from around 17 million people. They cheered over giving huge tax breaks to a handful of billionaires. They cheered over running up the national debt by another $3.5 trillion. You know, this bill is bad. It's bad economically. It's bad morally. This bill is just wrong. But we stay in the fight. We stay in the fight. We stay in the fight. And we proved why we stay in the fight, because actually there are pieces of this bill that we got better. We got the tax on solar and wind knocked out, and that's going to help with clean energy. We got a few different...
Yeah, okay, she's talking. But thank you, Chris T, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you to everyone that is liking, commenting, subscribing. Appreciate the super chats. Always grateful, no matter what the amount, right? It shows that you support the work, because this is work. A lot of people don't realize that, right? You got subscriptions and rundowns to create, right? Look, I got to show y'all something. This is my rundown for this show, right? I have to find all these links and decide, you know, which ones that we're going to talk about. And you get the rundown together. You got to put all the slides together. You got to put the scenes together, right? You got to do the thumbnail, all of that stuff, right? It's a little part-time work, right? But I enjoy doing it. So, you know, we make it happen. Okay. So thank you again to the $2 super chat. I appreciate you. All right. So she's saying, well, this is the thing, right? It's always about the compassionate policies. 17 million people will lose health insurance. Okay. Yeah. So unfortunately, that may be a part of it. But what are we actually providing for the nation? That should be the actual question, because those people are losing something, but it isn't as though there are no other options for them. They can still get health insurance. So that's like, well, and I'll let hold on one second. I'll let JD tell you. Like, to that point, right? To that point, essentially, JD reacts to Trump's budget cut, kicking 17 million Americans off health care. It's immaterial. It's immaterial. And you don't want to talk to me about healthcare, because I talked to people about this the other day. This was in 2017. My premiums as an independent contractor, self-employed worker. That's my premium in 2016 and 2017. You don't want to talk to me about that. I'm not interested in. I'm not. I had to pay this. I didn't have to, but I was paying this amount. That was Obamacare. This was Obamacare for those of us who were healthy and capable of working. This is 2017, my premium. When people start talking about healthcare and the like, it's going in one ear and out the other. Because I lived Obamacare as a healthy American who takes care of himself, is 50 years old with great health markers, no comorbidities, working out every day, eating right so that I don't go into the BMI of 25 plus. And so when you start talking to me about healthcare, I'm like, I don't care. I know I get in trouble for saying that, y'all, but thank you, Virus. Because they tried to take from me this amount and claim that it was my duty to do so. Yeah, we were paying about half of that maybe a little bit less, about 500 to 600 before Obamacare. Then when it doubled, and then it was about to, but yes. But yeah, I know, Brother Derek Franklin. Yes. All right. Health insurance and medical costs are out of control, expensive because of government intervention. First thing that needs to change is to uncouple health insurance from W-2 jobs. That would be amazing, because this is me. Obviously, I didn't have to pay as much when I was a W-2 employee, but when I became an independent contractor, that's when the prices go up, and you have to, and this is for 6 people, but I'm not about to be guilted into paying all of that for other people to have coverage. Yeah, that's not, I don't believe that is a Christian thing to do. I don't believe that I am obligated to pay for anybody's health care that I do not know. Right. But that's what like Catholic charities and the like, and all of the, health sharing options for Christians. That's why we can pour into those, because we can get to know the people, right? And actually care for people who are actually our neighbors, right? Who we can see and interact with, right? But yeah, what's her name? Elizabeth Warren is very upset, and rightfully so, right? Because this is a blow to her, to everything that she stands for. Where is it? But J.D. Vance says it. It's immaterial. We've got other problems. We're not continuing to support illegal immigrants. We're not going to continue to support the indigent. We need to do a much better job of getting rid of fraud and waste that the citizenry is taking advantage of. Much less illegal immigrants who are by nature here and criminals and who are taking advantage of the system. Thank you to the second super chat. I appreciate you. Let's see. Here we go. Super chat from Cutting Edge. He says, yes, remember the 300 plus people arrested for fraud in Medicaid by 14. But right, there's fraud that's happening within the American populace. We need to get rid of that. Get rid of these illegals, and then start focusing on all the fraud that's happening inside of our own citizenry. So why do we need to keep pumping money into a group of people that are here illegally? I just don't understand, right? I just don't understand it. It makes no sense, right? It just makes no sense. Yeah. All right. And taxation isn't the Christian way to be charitable. That is not what the Bible teaches, that we need to pay taxes so that other people can use our money to help other people. That's another lie. And I've got a video coming up that's going to discuss Christian love and how it's been loosely interpreted. That's going to be the acronym, and how the left has weaponized Christian love against us for their benefit and our detriment, and how we need to push back on their foolish definition of love and call it what it is, right?
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Yeah, there is no command in the Bible to do what the left is calling us to do. To indiscriminately give our money to the government so that the government does the work of charity. But the church has been given the work of charity, not the government. That's not the government's job. And again, until we understand Christian ethics and we can put things in their proper perspective and in their proper place, then we're always going to fall for the left's grift. And they're always going to be able to weaponize Christianity against us so that we look like fools because they can tell us you're not loving. Like, why am I going to get my Christian ethics from a leftist lunatic? I'm not taking my cue from the left on how to love. I'm sorry. Not the left that wants to exterminate people that look like me. Margaret Sanger. Not the left of Lyndon Baines Johnson that wants to have these N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. the social programs that he set up that promote indigency, promote sexual immorality, promote baby mama culture, promote single mother homes. Why would I take my cues on love and Christian ethics from that group of people? I won't. I will never allow someone to moralize me who believes in those things. That it's okay to off babies in the womb. You have no moral high ground here. You have none, right? You can continue to believe that, but the truth of the matter is you're a moral degenerate. Simple as that. All right. Now, so we got some more, okay? Got some more Trump degeneracy happening, okay? Now,
you know what? There's one thing about me as a server. If you come into my job with a fucking MAGA hat on, you can leave. Get out. We don't serve your kind here. Y'all want to be racist so bad? Okay, let me discriminate against you. And if somebody else gets to them before I do, oh, best believe I'm spilling your drinks, your food, your hot-ass ramen all over you. You're gonna leave here with third-degree fucking burns, bitch. Get the fuck out.
All right, well, she's got a mouth on her. Yeah. So this is, you wear that red hat, you're gonna get your ramen spilled on you, your drink spilled on you, right? Because these people can't manage their emotions. They can't manage their emotions, right? They can't manage them. And so they actually have to, this is what you get, right? This is what you get from that type of, you can see it in the chat, guys. You can see it in the chat. This is their playbook, right? I'm sorry. Yeah. This is their playbook, right? And we have to just accept them, I guess. But this is what the education system has produced. You see it happening in the chat. You just have to deal with it, I guess, and keep pushing, right? Try to do the thing that's right and good. But these people are unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable. They're going to harm you any way that they can, because they can't get to Trump. So you're the next best target. They're going to get you, right? Now, Van Jones finally admits the obvious. And I think this will be it and we'll move on to Zohran after this. Whoo-wee. But he admitted this a couple of months ago, but Dom Luker shared it again. I think this was very helpful. But yeah, let's listen to Van Jones.
How did Donald Trump figure out the mainstream media is the fringe and the fringe is now the mainstream? How the hell did Donald Trump figure out? I mean, Joe Rogan is obvious, right? Like, we knew the guy had a big audience. It's not like we were like stunned, but like, how the hell was he, the 78-year-old guy who doesn't even have a computer and still like writes handwritten notes, how did he become the guy who cracked the code on, to your point, running a cultural, I don't even want to say campaign, running
it was a movement. Look,
heading a cultural movement versus a campaign.
Every one of your people knows Elon. Listen. Yeah, so everybody keeps, the problem is you have a framework in your mind that, how could Donald Trump? Guys, can we cut it out? Donald Trump is not an idiot. Donald Trump, let me just be very clear. Donald Trump is smarter than me, you, and all critics. You know how I know? Because he has the White House, the Senate, the House.
Totally agree.
For the popular vote, he has a massive media ecosystem bigger than the mainstream, built around him and for him, and a religious fervor in a political movement around him. And his best buddy is the richest person in the history of the world, and the most relevant Kennedy is with him. This dude is a phenomenon. He is the most powerful human on Earth and in our lifetime, and we're still saying, well, how was this gone? We look like idiots to ordinary.
You're totally.
But it's funny, right? So now that Van has figured this out, we have to revoke his black card.
And you ain't black.
All right, he ain't black anymore. So, you know, I mean, I guess that's what we've got. We've got to come to grips with it. That old Donald, and now Van's not black. Donald's smart. He's been cured of his TDS. The man didn't win all of these things and get to the point where he's about being an idiot. But everybody that's calling him one, I mean, go ahead. You're sitting there with your Trump derangement syndrome. And again, it's not let's see, it's not
figure out.
All right, based on these election numbers, it's not unlikely that if you're black, you're going to hate Donald Trump, right? This is what is it? Clinton and Trump, black men, black women, 80% black men, Clinton, 94% black women, right? So, yeah. We got then the second one, 87% black men, 93% black women. Okay? 79% black men in the last one. Right? 91% black women. So, right? Many black men are they proved in the last election, right?
And you ain't black.
And we ain't black. We're fine with this, guys. We're fine. We're fine. Right? We're fine with being called disgraces to our race. Do you know how often we are embarrassed by the things that happen in black culture? Do you know how often black culture embarrasses us and disgraces us on the regular? Do you realize that the internet exists, social media exists, and all of these platforms have aggregated the nonsense of the black community for the world to see? But we're the disgrace. Me, loving my black wife, raising my black children who compose classical music and play multiple instruments. And we're constantly seeking the Lord every day, reading our Bibles and catechizing our children. And we're constantly at church and all of we're the embarrassment. I'm the disgrace to the black race. So, okay, sure. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with being a disgrace to y'all. I have no problem with that. Because yeah, ain't nobody should be checking for y'all anyway. Like let's just, you know what? Y'all, we're gonna go to the next topic since y'all mentioned it. Let's go. All right, let's go.
Carnival Cruise Line does not like black people, and they don't want black people taking their cruises, okay? It started off with the speakers telling people that they can't bring speakers no more. Why would you not want people to be able to bring speakers and listen to their own music? Anyway, now Carnival has banned rap music on their cruises. Now, I've been seeing little posts here and there the last couple of days that Carnival is not playing rap music in the clubs no more. But this morning, I actually saw a video of somebody in the club. There was nobody on the dance floor, and they were literally playing soca music. And the caption was like how they asked the DJ if the DJ could play some rap music in the club, and the DJ let them know that they're not allowed to play rap music anymore. So they put on soca. Now, y'all tell me, a place that does not allow rap music and rap music only, no other type of music is not allowed to be played but rap music. Y'all, please tell me, what is the demographic of people that they're trying to keep away? And Carnival, y'all got some nerve because y'all are mad dirty, y'all mad cheap, y'all mad ghetto. Every time I see a video of Carnival, the stairways is all rusty. Y'all got a whole documentary out here about how y'all ships be catching on fire and shit mixed with piss all on the walls, all on the floors, and y'all got beef with.
So yeah, we got beef.
Rap music. I think.
So, what's the deal? I mean, Carnival apparently is tired of the rap music and the culture that's grown up around their cruise ships. I don't know what to tell. I mean, she recognizes it. She says that Carnival Cruise Line does not like colored people because of the new policies that they're enacting that are specifically targeting one group who plays rap music, who plays all of this, right? And I know and this is what I would say. There is a silent majority of black people. Unfortunately, it's a silent majority that doesn't rock with these type of people, the ninjas. But it's a silent majority. So when you won't speak up and speak out against it, then you become complicit, because people can't tell the difference between you and the ninjas. This is the problem. So if you want to change the culture, you've got to address the issues in the culture. Iron sharpens iron. You've got to say some hard things. Yes, it's a good thing that people are getting tired of the ratchet behavior that you all exhibit in public places consistently. Now, what are you going to do about it? Well, they're going to go online and complain about it. No, that's not the solution. The solution is, how about you stop being ratchet? That would be you do realize that black people haven't always been ratchet, right? That wasn't always what we were known for. I wasn't. Prior to the Great Society programs and the nonsense of the left, we yoking ourselves to the Democrat Party. We weren't known for ratchetness, but we've lost multiple generations because of our alignment with the Democrat Party. And then again, and I talk about this all the time, how the preacher and the black male didn't stand in the gap and say, no, we will not allow this in our communities. So the black preacher lines up with Margaret Sanger and says, oh, okay, you want to exterminate the Negro race? Sure. We'll take the check, right? In the line of the Al Sharptons, right there along that line, the Jamal Bryants and the like, the Raphael Warnocks. We'll take the check, and we'll keep silent about the fact that that you all want to destroy the Negro race. We'll keep quiet. We won't say anything. We'll take that check. Oh, we won't say anything. If you could, thank you. If you could, like the stream. We won't say anything when the Great Society programs say that it's a good thing for a mother to have babies for pay, essentially. You can't take this check if you have a man in the home. Well, where were the black men and the black preachers and the black leaders there to say, nah, that's not a good idea? Because we know that without the man in the home, the children are going to be more susceptible to the government interventions, to the crack epidemic, to the drug and violence epidemic. How do you think that these people are dastardly, like the Lyndon Baines Johnsons? They knew. They study human psychology. They understood what would happen if you remove the man from the home. They knew that the families would be more susceptible and easily manipulated and easily controlled. And you have a voting block, a constant voting block. Right now, it's 90 plus every time. 90 plus. Look at that. 91% of black women Democrat. 93%. Highest of any group, right? 94% black women. Just keep going back further and further till you get to around the 60s and 70s. But because they know now that the Democrats are they're essentially the man of the house. They're the ones that they give you your money, right? You're going to be loyal to that person, to whatever that entity is. And so when you have people essentially yoking themselves to that lifestyle, and then the pathologies that come out of it, well, people get tired of it after a while. Nobody wants to deal with this. And the thing is, this is not new, because even Chris Rock said it years ago in his bit. Black people don't even like ninjas. We don't even like being around them. This is insanity. That we have to say, oh, okay, you know what? Degenerate rap music with cussing and violence, language of over-sexualization, all of these things. That shouldn't be, that type of music should not be listened to in the public square. It used to be a shameful thing. I don't know if you all are familiar with the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, where the main character, George Clooney's character, is trying to buy some pomade, right? And so he goes into the market. He said, and the man sells fop, as you know, fop and not Dapper Dan. And he says, he says, I'm a Dapper Dan man. I don't want fop, blanket, right? He cusses. And the man in the market says, watch your language, young fella. This is a public market. There was a law against that type of language. You couldn't cuss in public. Now they're fighting to be able to play ratchet, godless, heathen rap music on Carnival cruises without any shame whatsoever. We've lost shame. This is one of the reasons why black fatigue is trending, because you see so little shame from a lot of these black people that are on. And again, there's sites that aggregate it all. So what are we supposed to say when we can go just every day? We could see there's an endless stream of these type of stories every day. Let's look at this one. Y'all don't believe me? Let's look at this one. Here we go.
New tonight, some neighbors are dealing with a crisis in their apartment community near Grandview Heights. They called 6 on Your Side for help because they say crime is taking over and hundreds of strangers are too. Aaron Simonek joining us live from Runaway Bay Apartments. Aaron, what you are about to show us is shocking, to say the least.
Oh, absolutely, Jessica. Just imagine hundreds of people taking over this apartment complex who don't live here and don't pay rent, partying at the pool, the beach, and even the parking lot. Neighbors who do pay rent say they're concerned for their safety after even hearing gunshots earlier this month. At first glance, the Runaway Bay Apartments seem like a dream, a picturesque landscape nestled on one of these Scioto quarries.
The gate is not locked. It is a free-for-all for whoever wants to come in and out of this place.
But some people who call it home say it's become a living nightmare.
I've had my kayak stolen, my paddleboard stolen, I've had my car broken into, but yet we can't talk to the trespassers.
Carrie Cassidy has been renting here for a long time and says crime is only the start of the problems. There's a dangerous and disturbing trend happening involving pop-up events where hundreds of strangers take over the property, including the pool, the parking lot, and the quarry beachfront. All of this on private property where they don't live or pay rent. The front gate has been broken for months, with people pouring in day and night with no control.
Do y'all hear? That's how insane that is? That you live in an apartment complex and you have to worry about a group of people who don't live there, have no vested interest in the property's maintenance. They don't safety, regulations, nothing. But they have the audacity to throw parties, pop-ups on that property. And then if you say something to them, they will threaten your life. But what do you say to this? What do you say to this type of behavior? How do you defend this? How can anybody? I mean, this is, and if you say something, right? If you're white and you say something,
that's racist!
you racist. If you're black and you say something,
and you ain't black.
So what do you do? And then when people start talking about deporting black people back to Africa as the solution, then y'all get up in arms and mad. But it's like, well, can we get our community under control? Can we stop the nonsense? This is nonsense. Civilized people do not behave that way. They don't. And again, we have black pastors who will not call this out. They're soft on this. They're so worried about calling out Donald Trump. You don't get to call out someone when your house isn't in order. Remember that whole removing the plank and the beam out of your eye before you try to remove the speck from your brother's eye? So worried about Trump, but can't get our houses in order. And here's the insane thing. They blame Trump for this. They blame Republicans for this. Oh, Republicans don't want to help the black community. But virtually everything that has happened to the black community has been a result of Democrat policies. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
You can't make this up.
You can't. Make it make sense to me. Thank you to everybody that's subscribing. I appreciate everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, civilized people don't act this way. I don't even like going into other people's spaces and not respecting. My family, this is how we operate. If someone's been there before us and someone says, hey, come and take this seat, we're like, well, has anybody else been? Normally, do they sit in this place before? We get places early. And so we're like, well, we don't want to come in and take somebody's normal spot because it's a lot of us. It's 6 of us. So we're like, well, you know what? Let's just wait and see where people sit naturally, normally. And then we'll find our place and find a spot where there's 6 spots where we can, get in there, get in where we fit in. These people are like, well, we don't care. We white people, they owe us this. We get to come and do whatever we want. Like what? But again, I'm the Uncle Tom. I'm the Uncle Coon, the coon, the sellout, all this stuff. I'm like, are you serious? Nobody. People are done. People are done with that. And I personally, I'm grateful for this shift where white people are saying, okay, we've had enough of being insulted. We've had enough of being castigated. We've had enough of this, and we're tired of you all behaving this way. And then we have to be the ones that stay silent. And if we call it out, it's racist. I'm like, man, I couldn't do it. If I were white, I wouldn't be quiet. But that's just me. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I'm sorry. I wouldn't do it. You're not going to tell me you're not going to make me uncomfortable in my homeland. I'm sorry. That's just not going to happen. And I would be, I just don't know, y'all. Y'all got to help me to understand how this works. I'm grateful that they're starting to push back because this ratchet behavior needs to. I appreciate everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for, if you could like the video on your way in, double tap that screen. Thank you. Appreciate it. But we had to talk about this because they started talking about the black fatigue and stuff. So I had stuff in the pipeline, right? Because we got some other stuff to talk about too. Let's look at this one. Yeah, this young lady here had a problem, right? And we're going to look at some statistics.
Yeah, y'all. I'm trying to figure out why I'm in the middle of Miami. Literally at what time?
It's 12:44.
At 12:44, we go to a club called Mona. Do you know this club told me I'm too dark and too thick? Didn't let her in because she's too thick. Dark.
Bitches have audacity.
What's really going on, Miami? All too dark to get in the club? Yeah, no. Somebody need to let me know what's going on in Miami. Seriously.
So there's a problem, right? What's happening here? People are recognizing a trend. They're recognizing a trend. The clubs, and I just did a video, the evangelical church, American evangelical church is plump, P-L-U-M-P, and I break down an acronym. Y'all can check it out. It's I might link it in the description. But people are recognizing something. When you go online and you see the obesity rates, right? 49% Black Americans obese. 57.9% of Black women are obese. The national average is 42%, which is bad. But obesity is linked to higher levels of anger and irritability, especially in those with metabolic syndrome and image. What's happening? They're making the connection between overweight Black women and anger. So yeah, we don't want you in the club. Y'all might do some stupid stuff. It's called pattern recognition. You want to know what's really going on? People are seeing the videos online of the violence, of the anger, of the large Black women fighting, making complete fools of themselves. And they were saying, well, you know what? I'd much rather not have my club shot up tonight. We're going with a different demographic. Okay, we're just going to just a different demographic. That's what we're going to do today. That's what's going on in Miami. Miami's saying, yeah, not tonight. Not tonight. Okay? Now, I don't understand why people don't recognize this, because there is a natural, like when you're overweight, you're more irritable. Everybody recognizes that. And you see that it's a constant, it's really bad. It's really bad. But these people want special treatment. They want to continue to get into clubs. Like well, that woman, I don't know. If I was a club owner, I wouldn't want their type in my club either. I'm just being honest. Now I don't go to clubs, and I don't frequent them. I don't really care, but I'm going to recognize patterns. There will be people who will not be allowed in. And I mean, I guess, I don't know. Pattern recognition. That's all I'm saying. It's called being ratchet, exactly. I mean, people are recognizing the ratchet behavior. And they're making decisions, business decisions. If you see enough videos where Black people are coming into your establishment, if you have a restaurant, eating up the food, not tipping, being loud and obnoxious in the place. If you see them, you see the Walmart fights. I mean, not the Waffle House fights, right? You see the nonsense that goes on. You're constantly seeing this. That is how you create the perception that you shouldn't allow this demographic into your establishment. If you want it to be a success, if you don't want drama and danger, avoid that group. No one looks at my wife and I when we come into, yes, brother, yes, Kayla. I mean, the Waffle House. You see the Waffle House fights, right? I mean, it's just, and it doesn't matter whether you're at a restaurant, at a club, at a park, at an apartment complex, on a Carnival cruise, on an airline. It doesn't matter. The location is not the issue. It's the demographic. People are starting to recognize it, and they're behaving accordingly. Now, I said that there is a silent majority. I believe there's a silent majority of Black people that are not like the ratchet ends, but it's a silent majority that defends it and puts up with it. So when people are calling it out and you're defending it, they're like, well, you're guilty by association. Walmart fights, that's another one. Where asset protection, yes. After a while, how, in good conscience, if you're a person of the truth who believes in the truth, I mean, it really, at some point, you just got to recognize the pattern and say, okay, well, this is probably a trend that we need to recognize. And then the Walmart around where I live started to encase the black hair products. I mean, they secured them behind glass because theft was up. It's the black hair products that they secured. The Vidal Sassoon and the Suave and all that other stuff out in the open. I don't know. I mean, it really is. It comes down to a point where people need to stop being silent about this kind of behavior and actually call it out. Because there are groups that call it out, like Hebrew Israelites, Nation of Islam, other groups that conscious community, whatnot. But you'll see very few black traditional or Orthodox Christian, not Orthodox as in Greek Orthodox, but Orthodox in theology, right? Christian pastors calling it out. And we're like, well, wait a minute. If the Nation of Islam can take black men and reform them, and if the black Hebrew Israelites can take black men and reform them, now obviously they're not the spiritual aspect of it, but but they can have them to reform their lives and stop doing that type of stuff. Why wouldn't the Christian church be able to do it? Why are you not calling this out? Why are you soft pedaling? Because again, the Christian church, the black Christian church, has largely been aligned with the Democrat Party. And this is this is one little funny, well, we'll finish on that one with the black fatigue stuff. We may come back to it later, but I want to get to Zohran because my goodness, because we need to get to Islam. Zohran, we can do a little bit later. We got to talk about Islam. All right, let's do this. We got to talk about Islam. All right, because there's so much going on with that as well. We need to wake up. All right, let me do this. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of some of these other tabs. But this is in Texas, guys. This is in Texas. Red state. That's in Texas. Now, if they can do that in Texas, will soon look like Manchester, where they essentially, the takeover has, it's very similar. It's in Manchester. Now, so what do we do about this as Americans? Because we've got people telling us, well, that wasn't Texas. This is Texas. The other one was Manchester. All right. Okay. So, unfortunately, we have forgotten the plot. People who say no more religions, The only reason that you are not under Sharia law today is because of Christianity. Why do I say that? Because the Christians are the ones who fought back against the Islamic invasion during the Crusades, during other points in history. Because unfortunately, while you're believing that no more religions and this and that, Islam is ready to take over. They want to rule the world. They're coming for you, whether you like it or not. You may say, oh, I don't like all religions. They don't care. They will subjugate you. See, you've gotten to the point where you think because Christians don't rule by or don't convert by the sword. So you're in this comfortable little bubble where you think you can talk trash about all religions. Let Sharia be enacted. Go to an Islamic country. Talk trash about Muhammad. Talk trash about Islam. So you live in this protected bubble where Christians don't come after you for talking about Jesus. Okay? But keep playing around. Because right now, they're in the period where they're playing nice and they're having lots of children and they are secretly buying up land and creating mosques. I played the video in multiple different live streams where the Muslim imam says, this is what we are doing. We are trying to take over Florida, buy up mosques, create Islamic schools, because remember, the Christians did this to us years ago when they came to Islamic lands and their missionaries came over and they tore down mosques and built Christian schools. They remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers. So you may think that this is we get to talk trash about Islam. Sharia law will not allow for that. You better hope that the American Christians wake up and begin to defend this country and stop the Muslim invasion takeover from happening. You would hope that all of you atheists and agnostics who like to talk trash about religion. Okay. Yeah. Look, the answer, easy BCLS. The answer to your question is right above you. Cletus McGee says it. How do we stop it? Outlaw it. America was not meant to be a land where a multitude of religions were practiced. It was supposed to be Christian denominations were able to practice their religion freely. But the founders weren't explicit enough. But this book explains America's Christian History, The Untold Story by Gary DeMar. It would be a good read for anybody that's interested in the history that a lot of people like to push to the side. But America was meant to be a Christian nation. That was yeah. Now, one of the most harmful teachings that has sprung up, that has allowed this to happen, is this one. This idea that Christians and Muslims worship the same God. We do not. We do not worship the same God. Not at all. Yeah. Okay? We need to openly call this out before it's too late. We do not worship the same God. We believe as Christians that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, that he shares the same nature, character as his Father, and that he came down and took upon flesh, and then that the Holy Spirit is also. I mean, again, this is we believe in a triune God. We believe that the fullness of the revelation of Jesus Christ of God came through Jesus Christ. So there's no need for this guy. Hebrews denies that there's no necessity for another prophet to come after the one true prophet that was promised in Exodus 18. Deuteronomy 18. The Lord will raise up a prophet like me from among your brothers, the Israelites. That's him, not him. Jesus Christ is divine. And Muslims do not believe that. So how can we be worshiping the same God? How can we be worshiping the same God? One God in three persons. Blessed Trinity, right? And so unfortunately, even the Quran admits that, right? They talk about God in a very different way than we do. So we don't worship the same God as the Talmudic Jews, and we don't worship the same God as Islam. So this teaching has been a net negative on our domestic policy, because we've now allowed a group that is incompatible with our governing system to come in and to begin to slowly gain influence and grow in numbers, and they have a very clear agenda to subvert and to dominate, right? And someone says, I cherry picked. I mean, I didn't create this document. I didn't create it. I mean, if you want to go to the, you want to go there and talk about the things that he says, I mean, go for it. But we're not interested in this revelation that contradicts the revelations before it, and tries to tell us that everything that in the Bible that disagrees with the Quran is somehow wrong, when Muhammad got plenty of things wrong because he was not divinely inspired. And so, no, we don't worship the same God. And we should stand on that square and never get off of it. Because when you start to play nice with an enemy, right? What's that? Where the woman essentially raises a snake, right? And then, or the wolf. I forget what Aesop fable that is. I have Aesop's fable over here, but yeah. But it's like the I forget exactly what it is. I'm drawing a blank. But essentially, you're playing nice with your mortal enemy, and then you're surprised when they attack you and kill you. We shouldn't be surprised. We don't worship the same God as these people. We don't. Okay. So, and Christians throughout history have known this and have openly stated it. Saint Gregory. Right? They did not honor God, him as God, or worship him. And all of the links will be in the description. I appreciate you all. Thank you to everybody that's liking. All right. So we're not interested in, no. Yeah, we're not interested in playing nice. We should be willing to say, okay, this is the line in the sand is that you can't worship in America a false god. I'm all about that. If y'all want to know what my position stands, I am a straight up Christian nationalist. I don't believe that we should allow any religious worship in this nation outside of the one true God. If we want to receive God's blessings, we can't have false worship and expect that to happen, right? Anyway, let's listen into a gentleman who, yes, a gentleman who has some very interesting ideas, and he's a fan of Sharia law as well. Okay.
Model. We'll have to go beyond the market. We can establish community land trusts to gradually buy up housing on the private market and convert it to community ownership. We can give tenants a right of first refusal to buy out their landlords when buildings go up for sale. And we can fully commit to a new era of social housing, ending subsidies for luxury housing development and using our wealth to build beautiful, high-quality social housing projects that offer good homes and strong communities to everyone. We won't decommodify housing overnight, but we know what we have to do, and we have history to guide us. Go further.
You notice how he said, our wealth. Typical socialist. He didn't earn it, but he's going to take it from other people to distribute it as he sees fit. Right? Right. He cray. He cray. What's going on, Brother Derek Franklin? Glad you're still in here. Yes, he's cray. Straight up cray. All right. Yeah, he is an absolute commie. Straight up cray. Right. We need to. But the reason why I have him in the pipeline or in the rundown after the discussion about Islam is that put 2 and 2 together. Right? Put 2 and 2 together. Right? We had some people rage quitting. They had to let me know that they were leaving. Because, that's how they do it. Right? Oh, boy. Right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody that's subbing. Yes. All right. So, and the name is Developing Dad Podcast. I appreciate you all. Right. Okay. So, but if y'all want to know my first name, it's Michael. Right. Now, so unfortunately, this man will not denounce Sharia. We did that on a previous episode where he will not denounce it. He has problems with capitalism. He calls himself a democratic socialist. He wants to seize the means of production. We've done all of these videos. We talked about it. His social housing, our money, right? New Yorkers' money. It's a communal pool, apparently. Now, when the 1%ers and everyone who is making New York what it is decide to leave and they have no income, what is he going to do? Because at some point, people are going to just get tired and they'll stop. They'll stop living in New York. They'll stop doing business in New York. And they'll go somewhere else where it's more favorable, where there's a lighter tax burden, where their money won't be used for stupid programs like this. Yes, I said it. They're stupid, right? This is like, but this has happened so many times where socialists come in and because it's socialism never works. Or if it does work, it works for a short period of time because of the history that capitalism and the surplus that capitalism allows it to. Like capitalists build something great, socialists come and they destroy it. They're leeches. They're parasites. Your work, we're going to take it and we're going to use it for our purposes. So socialism can't create anything of worth, and they need capitalism in order to survive. So they need you to be capitalist and work hard, but they want to take your money. That's why they're calling it democratic socialism now, right? They're just, again, they're going to try as long as we keep allowing them to try. We need to fight and push back. Just like he said it on the previous video. He said it. We need to be staunch in our positions and not shrink back from what we want, from telling people what we want. He's saying that every position that we have, we need to be strong and steadfast in our desire for it, even if people aren't ready for it. This is his words. And so because he's willing to do that, we need to be willing to say, okay, if you want these things, get out. We don't. Don't vote him in. Get him out. Because this is antithetical to the Constitution and to everything that this country stands for. You are a socialist. We don't want you here. Right? Just bye. See you later. Right? See you later. Okay? And some things that need to be recognized is that New Yorkers, you may not recognize this, but this unholy trinity of people, right, getting together, Zohran, Al Sharpton, and what's that? Spike Lee, right? He said, "Dear Black Americans living in New York, you're in danger," right? Well, that's the wrong one. That's this one.
I'm in danger.
I'm in danger. Ralph Wiggum's like, somebody needs to tell y'all that you're in danger. They're coming for you. Nothing good will come to black people from this alliance. Because the gentleman over here, Al Sharpton is all about his money. I just want some money. He just wants some money. Wherever there's money to be made, Al Sharpton will be there. Spike Lee just has TDS. And this democratic socialist communist fool is going to do so much harm to the black community. They're going to continue. He says he's going to continue to allow New York to be a sanctuary city. Black people will continue to be pushed to the margins. They will no longer be able to afford bread, right? Because he's going to create democratic socialist grocery stores. His agenda, private housing. I mean, this is insane. And all of these things are going to hurt black people first. And they're going to hurt black people the worst. It always does. It always does. Whenever the Democrats get together, you can bet your bottom dollar that black people will be the worst ones for it. Now, the vast majority of the black population, but you'll have the talented 10th or the boule like these two gentlemen. They'll come up off black people's backs. They're continuing to do that every year, every passing year. They get richer and richer, and the black community gets poorer and poorer. Yeah, we have at one point, $3 trillion of spending power or income earning power, but what really do we have when it comes to those social pathologies that continue to plague us? Education, promiscuity, and the like. Like those things, the violence in our communities, because they haven't been able to fix these guys. Al Sharpton has been front and center for years, and hasn't been helping the black community in any tangible way. How are we better today? Right? So again, he says it. Black Americans living in New York. He said, you're in danger, right?
I'm in danger.
Y'all are in danger. You better do something. You better get to the polls and make sure that this gentleman does not win. Right? Because we don't want New York to fall. We don't want New York to fall. Right? Let's see. Do we have anything else? In the rundown, I did that. All right, I did that. We got 30 minutes. Yeah, we talked about that. I think that's pretty much it. I have some other stuff in there, but doesn't really fit with what we were talking about. Yeah. So we might close up shop a little early tonight, right? We didn't make our super chat goal. I was looking for 10 to see if I would post again tomorrow, but I think I have. I'm workshopping another video. I'm workshopping multiple videos talking about the evangelical church. Most of my prepared videos are on that. I do reaction videos live like this, but I do content, prepared content on the evangelical church and the problems that it's posing in American culture. I see a lot of the problems in American culture springing straight from the evangelical church, and it's yoking itself to some very false practices. And I go harder. Y'all think I go hard on yeah. Y'all be surprised. Go find someone. Yes, thank you, Monica Warren. Y'all be surprised some of the stuff I say about the evangelical church. Let's see. Let's do this. Because I'm hammering it because I believe that it should be better, right? So if let's do videos. Yeah. So I did one on the American church has a big back problem that released today. Yeah. All right. And then why Christian Zionism is toxic. Why I'm not a Zionist for members. That was just a cut of a larger video. Right. This was a set of videos that came from the ideas about whether or not the Protestant church actually believes the Bible. They discuss sola scriptura. Right. Do American pastors protect the sheep? 7 steps to repair American evangelicalism. Yeah, it's just a lot of stuff. How the modern church kills spiritual growth. Yeah. There's so many things. A lot of, yes. Right. Do Protestants, talking about Protestantism and the like. But, even this one where I said, Sophie Rain is the perfect modern Christian because she's like, well, yeah, I do whatever I want. Like, really? God loves my OnlyFans. Right. How Mike Todd, perfect black pastor, talking about Jamal Bryant and his activities as a pastor. Yeah. So So unfortunately, we have a lot of problems in the evangelical church. Yeah. What else? These are the ones that are more recent. I changed. Yeah. Oh, this is another one. Black gospel music. Right. Yeah. How it's essentially become a shell of itself. 5 reasons black men left the black church. Yeah. Right. 5 attributes of godly fatherhood. 7 steps to repair the American evangelical church. So I go in. Y'all think I go in hard on leftists and Trump derangement. I go harder on evangelical church because we should know better, right? But I've got one that I'm working on, Christian love, right? I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna give you all a little sneak peek before I head out about how love has been loosely defined by Christians and it needs to be recaptured. Got one on fornication in the black church and in evangelical church, black church. And then about individualistic Christianity. Also about how the social media is the new Tower of Babel. So I've got some stuff that we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks. but the evangelical church is doing a bang up job in creating ill-equipped Christians. Oh boy. Yes. So thank you to everybody that tuned in. Thank you to everybody that liked, commented, subscribed, super chatted, supported in every which way. We got over, I think over, if we start from the beginning of the video, let me see where that number was. But yeah, we got over 400 subscribers on this latest video. So we're not going to complain, right? Yeah, we were at 7,388. We're now at 7,788. So we got 400 subscribers new on this video. Appreciate everybody. We're trying to get to 8,000 by the end of the month. Looks like we might hit that one. So we appreciate that. I appreciate you all. Yes. Yes, we try to keep it fun in here, right? We try to keep it fun, right? So we're going to keep on rocking. Yes, yes. Talking about these wins that old Trump is pulling in. What's up, brother Jalone D. Wood Sr., one of my moderators and long-time supporters. He's right there in the chat. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I appreciate you all. Yes. And until next time, y'all know my tagline. Until next time, be on the alert, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. See y'all around. Bye.